Ooh, hi Holmes. Congrats on being first. And hi Golan. Congrats on being my personal coach. Ooh. Hey, this is Teiyu, your emotional support animal. We're gonna be trying to do some more studying today. 'Cause that's a good use of our time. As a society, I am very tired. I don't know why I've been so tired lately. I guess it must be the weather. That's always a good thing to blame. I don't know. Something like that. Oh. Gah. Man. I have been working out my legs a lot lately. Because I've been you know, I ride my bike a lot, but I've been kinda doing it harder, I guess, you know, like turning up the gear, shifting into a higher gear, just to exercise my legs more. And yeah, I feel it. Okay, where did we stop last time? That is a very good question. Last time, I'm pretty sure we ended on the end of a chapter. I think I took that opportunity to end the stream. Ah, man, I'm so sorry. I should really prepare this stuff. By the way, how are you guys doing? My dear dudes. Keeping a grip, being cautious about new openness. Yeah, that's definitely where we stopped. Alright. Oh boy. How do we read this? Man, how people really need to invent some kind of way to, you know, to hold books. To hold books in a way that's comfortable. Hi Roboto. Hey, how are you doing? Okay. Chapter 9. Chapter 9. Zip. Zip. Oh god. My keyboard is being extra spicy today. I'm doing this a long story, oh dear. Well, I hope it's... I mean, I know you're gonna be okay, but I hope you're gonna be okay very soon. And I hope it's not too bad right now. If you do want to talk about it, then feel free to. This is the opportunity to do so. Because, you know, where else are you gonna talk about it if not during a study stream for psychology and stuff? Well, okay, I guess there are other places, but, you know, it's... The point is, you can do it here. Been booked into a psychiatric hospital. How are you feeling about that? Right on topic, yeah. Are you anxious about it or hopeful? Talking good, what the heck? I know, right? Call the SCP, the Snuggle Cuddle Party. It's just boring you. Oh, so you're already there. Oh. Oh, that shouldn't... it shouldn't be boring. I mean, I guess you can't use the entire time to just work on yourself. That's probably a little too optimistic, but yeah. When I was, you know, an inpatient, or like half inpatient. I was an inpatient for a while, and then also, you know, like that midway thing where you kind of spend half the day there and then get to sleep in your own bed. You know, at home and stuff. Oh my god. Hang on. Hey, Albatross. Okay, hang on. That it? And come on, keyboard. Let me do my keyboard. There we go. Oh god. Okay, you are big bad bird. You are such a big bad bird. You're a big bad bird. A big bad bird. A big bird. Wait, what was I saying? Right. Yeah. When I was there, probably the most helpful thing was like all these little group activities where, you know, they don't feel like a lot of where they don't seem like anything more than like silly games, but then, you know, you talk about it and talk about the way you acted in them, and how, you know, there's all these like social things, like just find a spot for yourself in the room while everyone else is also trying to find a spot for themselves and stuff like that. And it just gets you to observe, like, how do I act in situations like this? And then you analyze that stuff and you're like, whoa, that's how I act. That's wild. Monty, hi there. How be all of y'all this fine, eventide, prithee, and pray tell? Man, you really gotta study that catchphrase. That is, salutations and howdy doodle famioli. How be the all of y'all this fine, eventide, prithee, and pray tell? Okay, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. You just gotta say it with confidence. Hi there. I'm alright. How are you doing? Oh, what was I saying? Right. But yeah, the other most important thing was just that I had a lot of time on my hands, and I used it to try to, you know, learn about myself. And read books like this one. Yeah. Okay, now, there's the Morty 3K Special Ultra Deluxe, which means... stretch. Yeah. And... yep. And hydrate. Of course. And vibe check. I am madly tired. I am not happy about that. I don't know why it's been like that for like several days now. As I said, like the only thing I can think of is that maybe it's the weather. And yeah, I just hope that I can make it through this stream without, you know, my brain breaking all too much. And also I've been kind of frustrated with like my progress, trying to like achieve goals. Like I've been trying to write down the rules for the Discord and stuff like that, and for this channel for days now, and it's just not working out. By the way, Discord, there we go. Right dandy, just enjoying my Maroon addiction, sipping some coffee and listening to his really cute go VTuber. Wonder if you know him. I don't know, you should introduce me. They sound very lovely. By the way, if you're gonna be streaming that stuff, then I'll give you a shout out because you are a lovely being.
My mind is pulling a blank on me. This is okay, I'll run with the latter option.
And in the meantime, I guess I
Sure,
have to do
that
another
really
stretch
makes
and
his point.
hydrate.
But I'm figuring this. If it was such a great deal, you probably would have done something to be right now. But you're choosing to keep me here alive because this is an anomaly you haven't seen before. Wise choice.
Alright. So, as we were, Chapter 9. How it feels to live free of roles and fantasy. Nice. We're getting into the healing portion, or, you know, this, I guess this is like kind of supposed to encourage you to, man, this shades toggle lasts for so long that sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, well, I thought I'm supposed to wear glasses. So proud of that overlay. It was a lot of work scanning batches of an individual, copying out each individual stammer to that collage. Ooh. Oh, you did a good job. You have reason to be proud. Alright, let's start reading. In this chapter, we'll explore what life feels like when you stop playing a role in order to relate to an emotionally immature parent. We'll see how new thoughts and actions can help you transcend the emotional loneliness of playing a role as you regain the emotional freedom to truly be yourself. Hi, Dakana. How are you doing? As you learn, it can be a struggle to get free, but it's well worth it. There are posters from World War II from my great grandma's collection. Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, I'm alright. I'm alright. Yeah, no. Just kinda struggling with the same old stuff. But overall, things are alright. I'm glad to hear that you're doing good. Family patterns that may be holding you back. Before we dive into discovering and fostering your true self, thanks for that, Pat. Let's review some of the family dynamics that keep people trapped in old roles. Discouragement of individuality. If you were raised by an emotionally immature parent, you spent your early years tiptoeing around the anxieties of an emotionally phobic person. The enmeshed families created by such parents are a stronghold against their fear of individuality. A child's individuality is seen as a threat to emotionally insecure and immature parents because it stirs up fears about possible rejection or abandonment. If you think independently, you might criticize them or decide to leave. They feel much safer seeing family members as predictable fantasy characters rather than real individuals. For parents who fear both real emotion and abandonment, authenticity in their children presents frightening evidence of the child's individuality. These parents feel threatened when their children express genuine emotions because it makes interactions unpredictable and seems threatening to family ties. Therefore, their children, in an attempt to prevent their parents from becoming anxious, often suppress any authentic thoughts, feelings, or desires that would disturb their parents' sense of security. Sup, Morty? What did I forget? Did I forget the stream audio alerts thing? Ping in Discord? What? It's supposed to happen automatically. Oh, wait. Wait. Hang on, there were things have changed. Oh yeah. Self-promo. Right, yeah. Y'all. I should... What I really forgot is that I should, have pinged all of y'all to get those new roles. Because there's now a role to be notified of me going live. So yeah. And also my going live typing is just in the self-promo channel, along with everyone else. That's a new thing. So yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and do that. Or... well, give everyone at least a little thing. Everyone. Streamers live. By the way, don't forget to go into channels and roles, I think it was. Channels and roles? Yeah. God, hang on, I need to orient myself with my own Discord, because everything's been changing. Grab your Twitch alerts. Roll. Yes. Okay. Yeah, thank you for the notification. And sorry I didn't, ping you, I guess. I've been, well, kind of changing a lot in the Discord. Mostly I've been having someone else change it, namely Dianella. Dianella is, she creates like a whole Discord server for you with all the bells and whistles and stuff for just $30, and it's good. Hey you, yeah, you're right there reading this. Hey, I got something important to tell you. You're awesome, amazing, wonderful, funny, valid, you matter, you're allowed to have emotions, and I'm bloody proud that you exist. Also, I have strap streams. Thank you for that nice message. How are you doing? Okay. Onward. Denial of individual needs and preferences. Parents who need to keep strict control. Yo, Lappen! Ah. I guess Lappen also didn't know about the new Twitch reaction thingamajig. Sorry about that. Yeah, I need to really get going on all that Discord stuff. That was supposed to be my goal for like last month, to get all of that done. Sorry. But now you're here, and you didn't really miss anything. Parents who need to keep strict control because of their anxieties often teach their children not only how they should do things, but also how they should feel and think. Children who are internalizers tend to take this instruction to heart, and may come to believe that their unique inner experiences have no legitimacy. Such parents teach their children to be ashamed of any aspect of themselves that differs from their parents. In this way, children may come to see their uniqueness and even their strengths as odd and unlovable. In such families, internalizing children often learn to feel ashamed of the following normal behaviors: enthusiasm, spontaneity, sadness and grief over hurt, loss, or change, uninhibited affection, saying what they really feel and think, expressing anger when they feel wronged or slighted. On the other hand, they are taught that the following experiences and feelings are acceptable or even desirable. There's a Rhyhorn in chat. That is desirable. Fine. Rhyhorn. I already have a Rhyhorn. Obedience and deference toward authority. Physical illness or injury that puts the parent in a position of strength and control. Uncertainty and self-doubt. Liking the same things as the parent. guilt and shame over imperfections or being different, willingness to listen, especially to the parents' distress and complaints, stereotyped gender roles, typically people-pleasing in girls and toughness in boys. Having some safe food, aww. That's good though. What's the safe food for you? Hang on, I need to do some lip stretches for a moment. Give me a second. Sorry, though. I could probably have let you guys listen in on that, but it just feel it sounds weird. If you are an internalizing child with an emotionally immature parent, you are told many self-defeating things about how to get along in life. Here are some of the biggest ones. Give first consideration to what other people want you to do. Don't speak up for yourself. Don't ask for help. Don't want anything for yourself. Hi, cat. Have some stew like my dad made back then. Aww. Is that what makes it safe? Like the association with that nostalgic time? I'm very sleepy. But yeah, if we work hard, we could technically maybe make it to the end of the book today. Oh, you do. I hope you have a great day too. Oh. Well, you do. You also deserve it. And I won't hear any ifs or buts about it. Internalizing children of emotionally immature parents learn that goodness means being as self-effacing as possible so that parents can get their needs met first. Internalizers come to see their feelings and needs as unimportant at best and shameful at worst. However, once they become conscious of how distorted this mindset is, things can change rather quickly. For example, Carolyn's healing fantasy was that if she was subservient and let her mother be the main character in her life story, her mother would finally appreciate her. But in therapy, she came to this realization: my family role was a fiction. I've realized that I'm not a bit character in someone else's novel. I can step off the page. I no longer want to be in that book. Yesterday I went out with him to pick up his meds. He was so confused whilst we were out. So confused. Confused by just the world and stuff? That is starting to sound really concerning. Adhering to an internalized parental voice. You may wonder how parents can manage to train a child to go against his or her gut instincts and life-affirming impulses. It occurs through a process I call parent voice internalization. As children, we absorb our parents' opinions and beliefs in the form of an inner voice that keeps up an ongoing commentary that appears to be coming from inside us. Often this voice says things like, you should, you'd better, or you have to. But it may just as frequently make unkind comments about your worth, intelligence, or moral character. He knew what we were doing, but he often just blanked out and froze it on. Aww. Man. Could it be that he's like already getting like, what's it called? Like Alzheimer's or something like that? Adamant on not seeing a doctor. Oh, well, it could be a lot of things, but man, like being so confused by just your surroundings and stuff like that. That is rough. Although this commentary sounds like your own voice, it's really an echo of your early caretakers. If you'd like to learn more about this, the book Conquer Your Critical Inner Voice by Firestone, and Catlett can help you identify where your inner voices came from and how to free yourself from their negative influences. Everyone internalizes their parents' voices. It's how we're socialized. In the 60s, so it could be anything. And while some people end up with a supportive, friendly, problem-solving inner commentary, many hear only angry, critical, or contemptuous voices. The unrelenting presence of these negative messages can do more damage than the parent themselves. Therefore, you need to interrupt these voices in the act of making you feel bad so that you can separate your self-worth from their critical evaluations. The goal is to recognize the voice as something important that is not part of your true self, so that it no longer feels like a natural part of your own thinking. Imported. Not important, but like kind of the opposite. One way of doing so is to use the maturity awareness approach in Chapter 8 to relate to those negative voices inside your head, just as you used that approach with a parent. As you get more objective about your emotionally immature parent, you can also reevaluate the voices in your head and begin to free yourself from their undue influence. Just as with your actual parent, you can make a point to observe how these internal voices talk to you. You can take what you hear with a grain of salt and make a rational decision about whether you want to keep listening to that inner critic. Okay, but this was mostly kind of a recap. Basically just, yes, these family patterns discourage individuality. They deny individual needs and preferences, which is kind of very similar to that thing. I guess I'll take a quick note on this part. It's not good as book though. Yeah. It is. It was very helpful during that time at the clinic. Okay. Family patterns revolving around emotionally immature parents. Discourage individuality. Individuality. Hang on. Individuality. There we go. Discourage individuality. Deny the child's needs in order to in order to not disturb the parents' Jacob, hiya. Won't be for long, but I wish you all a great day or evening and a lot of mental energy. Yeah, you too. Thank you for dropping by. And hi there, Jesus. How are you doing? I know the chance is slim, but I need to find a legal way to get him to see a doctor at least. I guess I don't know if there's some way you can get it, like, I don't know, like you can't forcefully, like get someone, what's the word, committed or something, I think, except maybe under like extremely extreme circumstances. I don't know. It's worth looking into, though. Just woke up? Well, I hope you're having a good morning. How have you been? Right. Not Burns. Desire for stability and predictability, and these influences manifest as internal voices that stick with us until our adult life. Even until our adult life. Identify when which of these internal voices stem from your parents and use that knowledge to take the power from them. Cannot get away from me as long as he isn't helped at the very least. My mother and siblings aren't much help to him either. I try my best, but I cannot handle that. So my limits. Yeah. Gotta find some way to do it. Otherwise, I mean, if there's no way, then you just have to, I don't know, leave, I guess. You know, your responsibilities to yourself first and foremost. Okay. Freedom to be human and imperfect. Internalized parental voices probably originate in the left hemisphere of the brain, where language and logic rule. When the left brain is allowed to run the show, it puts perfectionism and efficiency before feeling, and judgment before compassion. Without the balance provided by the more personal and intuitive right side of the brain, your left brain will use machine-like equations of right and wrong to size you up. Its moralistic voice will tell you that you're either good or bad, perfect or broken, depending on what you accomplish. This kind of a judgmental logic is an aspect of the mental rigidity that accompanies emotional immaturity. Interesting. You know, it bears mentioning that this whole left side and right side brain thing it's more of a model to look at the way the brain works. It's not really like your right side does this thing and your left side does that thing. It's a lot more fluid than that. But there is something to those different modes of thinking. Jason's story. Jason, a successful college professor and amateur artist, had been depressed for years. He'd grown up with an arrogant, critical father and a self-preoccupied mother, neither of whom had any patience for him. Octillery in chat. Octillery is an interesting one. I kinda enjoy it. It was one of my, one of the mons that are between my favorites and between just kinda this exists, upper cool something. I just like the concept. Go catch. Great ball, sure. Why not? Just makes me sad to see the very man who raised me and this helpless. Sometimes he has his emotional moments and just like back then breaks my heart. Yeah, it really is like that. It makes sense to feel like that, and you know, that's I don't know how to say it. It's just, you know, it's true. It does feel like that. But ultimately, you know, if there's nothing you can do, then there's nothing you can do, and all that's left is to just make your peace. No. I guess that's kind of probably as soon when I'm gonna try to forget his current self. I guess that's kind of like the big thing that us humans have to struggle with. Just this knowledge that, you know, things end, and we'll have to find some way to come to terms with that. It's never easy, but yeah. You'll figure it out. We'll figure out some way to get there. Jason had internalized a very negative, perfectionistic inner parental voice that constantly evaluated him. No matter what Jason did, that inner voice had something deflating to say about it. Anytime he failed to perform as perfectly as that inner voice demanded, he instantly reacted with self-judgment and self-loathing. In addition, he could never tell if he really wanted to do something or just thought he wanted to because the voice said he should. I wonder how far I have a voice like that. I feel like for me it's just kind of become like background noise. Like I can't make out any individual like negative self-talk like that. It's just kind of like feeling bad. Well, most of the time. I guess it's when I'm feeling really bad. I guess it does come out a little bit. Fortunately, in the course of therapy, Jason became aware of the connection between this inner voice and his disapproving parents. Like his parents, this negative voice criticized all his choices, constantly undermining his self-confidence. Instead of accepting it as the voice of reason, as he had for years, Jason finally recognized it as the disembodied voice of his parents and understood its destructive agenda. Once he was able to hear the voice for what it was, Jason realized that he didn't have to believe it when it told him that he was being bad, selfish, or lazy. Instead of forcing himself to do things perfectly because the voice told him to, he started asking himself questions to clarify his own desires. When he felt dread about doing something, instead of forcing himself to do it, Jason paused and asked himself, are my needs part of this picture? Am I the biggest part of the picture? And what's the balance between my own needs and what the voice is saying I have to do? Done something though that keeps his mind stimulated. Gave him a daily Sudoku and math question. That's cool. That's cool. That can help a little. I hope it will. I hope it will help. Jason had lived his whole life approaching tasks with the thought, oh damn, I have to do this. Now he saw more alternatives, asking himself, do I really have to do it right now? And if it's necessary, how and when am I going to fit in the other things I want to do? He learned to first ask himself what he wanted to do, making choices on his own behalf, and beating the inner voice to the punch. By taking a moment to deliberately think about what he really wanted, Jason was at last freeing himself from the tyranny of his inner voice. Freedom to be human and imperfect. Probably doesn't make the condition better, but it slows down, yeah. It can help with that, with slowing down the deterioration, if it's like, you know... I keep forgetting what the thing is called, like... It's not Alzheimer's necessarily. I don't know. So the hydrate. Dementia, that thing, yeah. I keep trying to blank on the simplest stuff. But that's just how my brain works sometimes. Freedom to have your genuine thoughts and feelings. If your childhood thoughts and feelings made your parents uncomfortable, you would have quickly learned to suppress these inner experiences. Knowing your true emotions and thoughts probably felt dangerous if it threatened to distance you from the people you depended on. You learned that your goodness or badness lay not only in your behavior, but in your mind as well. In this way, you may have learned that the absurd idea that you can be a bad person for having certain thoughts and feelings, and you may still hold that belief. Oh boy. However, you need access to all your inner experiences without feeling guilty or ashamed of them. Plus, you'll have more energy when you let your thoughts and feelings flow naturally, without worrying about what they mean about you. A thought or feeling means nothing more than that you're having a thought or feeling. Regaining the freedom to simply let your thoughts and feelings come and go without condemnation is a profound relief. Yeah. Yeah, I've come to that realization a while ago that, you know, a big part of why my brain feels so sluggish, it's probably that I have all these subroutines running constantly, that I constantly checking my thoughts and feelings for anything unacceptable, you know, just trying to filter them. I wonder, you know, sometimes I wonder if I'm like actually on the autism spectrum. Like there have been people voicing suspicions, like my mother when I was like very small still, and I didn't seem to be too interested in making friends with other kids and stuff like that. Yeah. I was like, looking back, I was so weird back when I still acted spontaneously. And yeah, once I hit high school, that's when I really started getting the pushback on how I acted. Like before then, you know, my parents, I think I already had that thing where I tried to suppress my feelings because feelings would stress out my parents and stuff, but that's when I really started policing my own behavior and everything. And yeah, basically that sucks. Anyway. The fact is, having a thought or feeling isn't initially under your control. You don't plan to think or feel things, you just do. Think of it this way: your thoughts and feelings are an organic part of nature expressing itself through you. Nature isn't going to be dishonest about how you feel, and you don't have a choice about what thoughts nature brings up in you. Accepting the truth of your feelings and thoughts doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a whole person and mature enough to know your own mind. Okay. Good luck, I guess. Let me look at it. Ooh. Okay, there's a lot of freedoms here. Alright. Freedom to be human and imperfect. How do I do this? This way you can attain many kinds of freedom. There you go. Freedom to be human and imperfect. The rigid patterns of judgment that you internalized. Thanks for that, Pat. That you internalized. Make you think in black and white terms about your own worth based on what you accomplish. Free yourself by asking questions like, do I want to do this, or do I think I am supposed to? Freedom to have your genuine thoughts and feelings. If your thoughts and feelings make your parents uncomfortable, you learn to police your own mind and feel guilty for even having them. There's nothing to feel guilty about, though. Thoughts and feelings just happen. By the way, there's a freaking Dragonair in chat. Hang on. Dragonair? Why do I already have a Dragonair? Why do I have a Dragonair, but not a not a Dratini or a Dragonite? Sometimes this stuff feels weighted. Thanks for the posture check and touch. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, nature. Oops. Nature gives them to you. Yeah. Having them doesn't make you bad. It only makes you whole. You know what? Give me a couple minutes. Give me 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go. I'll be right back. Hello there, L. Welcome to the herd. Hey. What's up with you? Really nice animation you got there on the screen. I know, right? Dang it, where's the clip reel? Why is the clip reel not working? What the heck? Hang on. Does it come now? No? Oh. But yeah, hi. Moon, hello. How are you doing? Thanks for that pet. Voice is so calm. Aw. I try. I mean, it just kind of happens like that. I don't know. I'm glad you enjoy it. She'll return. Have to get groceries. Go get those groceries. Go get them, Tiger. There we are. I was hoping that Lappen would be back for this, but I guess we'll keep going. Freedom to suspend contact. Ideally, you'd probably like to have the freedom to be yourself, yet protect yourself while continuing to relate to your parent. Still, you might find it necessary at times to protect your emotional health by suspending contact for a while. Although this can stir up tremendous guilt and self-doubt, consider the possibility that you may have good reasons for keeping your distance. For example, your parent may be emotionally hurtful or disrespect your boundaries, an intrusive way of relating that impinges upon your right to your own identity. You may want to take a break from dealing with a parent who behaves in this way. Doing great, multitasking, playing IDV, and crying because Nick's teased Costume Gotcha has pretty costumes. Aww. Are you gonna have to spend money? I'm sorry. Some parents are so unreflective that, despite repeated explanations, they simply don't accept that their behavior is problematic. In addition, some sadistic parents truly are malevolent toward their children and enjoy the pain and frustration they cause. Children of these sorts of parents may decide that suspending contact is the best solution. Just because a person is your biological parent doesn't mean you have to keep an emotional or social tie to that person. Fortunately, you don't need to have an active relationship with your parents to free yourself from their influence. If this weren't so, people wouldn't be able to truly emotionally separate from parents who live far away or have died. True freedom from unhealthy roles and relationships starts within each of us, not in our interactions and confrontations with others. Aisha's story. Aisha, a 27-year-old woman with a successful career in TV reporting, struggled with depression and low self-esteem. Her mother, Ella, had always called Aisha a problem child. Although Ella doted on Aisha's little brother, she was critical and exacting toward Aisha. Aisha felt she could never please Ella, but she kept trying to make her proud anyway. However, Ella kept harping on the things Aisha didn't do perfectly. Ella also couldn't resist mocking Aisha in front of other people, including her boyfriends. Although Aisha confronted Ella about these behaviors many times, it never seemed to help. Ella always feigned innocence and even used Aisha's tears and anger as further proof that she was a bad child who treated her mother poorly. Aisha became so sensitized to Ella's derogatory comments that a simple dinner together often deteriorated into tears before the evening was over. I'm F2P, that's why misogynist my main was getting the S tier. Aww. It's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Once Aisha decided to break off contact with Ella, her stress levels decreased markedly. No longer exposed to hurtful interactions with Ella, Aisha felt happier than she had ever had. She worried that she was a bad person for not seeing her mother, but she couldn't deny how much better she felt and how much more self-esteem she had without Ella in her life. Aisha's boyfriend even remarked on how much more relaxed she seemed. Months later, Aisha brought a card from her mother to a therapy session to read to me. Although Ella clearly meant it as a plea to resume contact, for Aisha, her mother's words only confirmed why she needed to keep her distance. In an act of pure self-justification, Ella had only written about her feelings and how she'd never done anything but love Aisha. She showed no empathy for Aisha and didn't take any responsibility for her hurtful behavior. Aisha had explained her hurt feelings to her mother many times. There was no mystery about why Aisha had broken off contact. Any mystery existed only in Ella's mind. Her idealized fantasy of being a loving mother simply didn't leave any room for Aisha's feelings to exist. Well, it's the... I hope I updated the stream information. It's Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. It's a book about, how our lives were shaped by our parents, who were probably, if we're reading this, emotionally immature, which means that they were not emotionally available and not able to provide us with the emotional closeness and stability that we needed as children, and how that influenced our development up until adulthood, and how to get out of that. Coping together somehow. Send the teaser poster in Discord if you're curious. Okay, sounds like a good book. Yeah, it is. It helped me a lot during my own stay at a hospital. Hang on, let me have a look at the Discord. Wait, where is it? It's not there yet. I think, everyone kind of has a little bit to learn about, from this, because, almost no parents manage to do everything right, Well, no parents manage to do everything right. I mean, what does right even mean? The point is, we're all fucked up. And, yeah. There's a goat in chat, by the way, if you're a fan of goats. For some reason. I don't know why you would be. Goats just kind of smell bad. But, you do you. Anyway. Freedom to set limits and choose how much to give. While suspending contact is sometimes necessary. Goats are great, yeah. They are. Oh man, I wish I wasn't allergic to everything. For a while I used to go to the zoo regularly just to go to the petting zoo and pet the goats. While suspending contact is sometimes necessary, some people are able to set limits so effectively that their parents simply don't have an opportunity to do more harm. One way to do this is to take control of how frequently you're in contact with your parents. By setting limits on contacts, you can devote more energy to your own needs for self-care. Your parents may protest when you aren't as generous with your time or attention as you used to be. However, these difficult moments present a priceless opportunity to get over any irrational guilt for having needs of your own. Pyro Frost, hello. Want to do that one day? Go to the petting zoo? Hell yeah. Can totally recommend. Guess what? Chicken butt? I wonder where that came from. barely even rhymes. Like, hang on, let me try to look this up. Hang on. Guess what chicken butt origin? The origin of the expression. Guess what chicken butt? An important part of the childish lexicon for many decades, the retort's origins are usually speculated to have come from a practice common to street merchants when they would call out what they were offering and how much it cost. One particularly delicious item was advertised as chicken butt, 5 cents a cut. And this cent didn't mean the back end, but rather its shoulder. Along the what will to the shoulder as it, never mind. It came from something. No, unfortunately. Oh, what is it then? So I'm in a new year in my school and they now give us more homework, one of which is Spanish online homework. The thing is, it's Spanish. Which means you can't speak it because you're still learning Spanish. Everyone's password is the same and the username is very easily guessable. Well, darn. That is very dumb. That's so you can easily log into somebody's account. Now, oh god. Now, you can do their homework. Of course, yeah. I'll keep reading for a moment. Remember, if you're an internalizer, you'll be inclined to feel that the answer to any problem is for you to make things better, and that if you try a little harder, the situation, including others' behavior, will improve. It's such a relief to realize that this isn't true. More often, internalizers keep trying harder and externalizers keep taking advantage of this. Remember, your goodness as a person isn't based on how much you give in a relationship, and it isn't selfish to set limits on people who keep on taking. Your job is to take care of yourself, regardless of what others think you should be doing for them. But I also found out you can reset the homework. Oh god. That is a recipe for disaster. Paying attention to subtle energy drains from other people can help you realize when you're giving too much. Even in minor encounters, you can adjust how much you give so you won't be exhausted by trying to fulfill others' needs. I recommend using the maturity awareness mindset to observe how your parents react when you ask them to respect your boundaries. Notice whether they try to make you feel ashamed and guilty, as if they have a right to do whatever they want, regardless of how it affects you. Thanks for the hydrate. I got Pyro. Don't do it. Don't do it. That is the dark side calling to you. Too late. Well, shit. Oh, genie's evil. Brad's story. Brad had his hands full with a demanding job, 4 children, and a shaky marriage. Although he was under a lot of stress, he agreed to let his irascible mother... What? His what? That's one way to get revenge on your bullies, I guess, yeah? I was gonna say that... You know, usually I would advocate, like, against passive aggressiveness. And for, like, you know, just clearing things up, like talking things out in a mature way. But, you know, of course, like, when it's like about bullies or something, then that's not so easy to do. And obviously also, you know, if they know that you did it, then you'll just be in more trouble with them. So yeah, honestly, if someone is like just like a straight up dick all the time and then they just get fucked over by some unknown source, then I guess maybe that would actually help. To make them feel like, oh wait, my actions have consequences. Well, shit. There's some holes in this plan. I have to do it right after they did their homework and left the website so the teacher doesn't check and mark it as it's correct. Oh. But I believe you. I believe in you. You've got this. Wait, why am I encouraging you? Alright, I was gonna look up this word. What the hell does it mean? What is irascible? That sounds like a soup brand. Irascible. Okay, so it's just easily angered. So irritable. Well, just say irritable. Come on. Stream advocating chaos. I mean, you know, I'm just advocating for you to live your best life, basically. He agreed to let his irritable mother Ruth move in with his family after she lost the lease on her apartment following an argument with her landlord. Soon after Ruth moved in, Brad discovered that his wife had been having an affair with, well, shit, which almost destroyed their marriage. Around the same time, Brad's teenage daughter was caught smoking pot at school. Ruth showed no sensitivity to the tension in the house. In fact, she added to it by expressing her opinions whenever she felt like it. If she felt snubbed, she would slam doors, yell at children, and swear at the pets. Brad felt like he was nearing a breakdown. Oh, wow. Brad. My god. Go play some stuff. Okay, have fun. Have a good time. Have all the shooty shoots and the jumpy jumps and I don't know, whatever you want to do. Just be winning. Okay. Brad saw that he had to choose between himself and his mother's sense of entitlement. He'd repeatedly tried talking to Ruth about her behavior, but it hadn't helped. Ruth continued to try to rule the roost and was often unpleasant to Brad's children and their friends. Brad finally asked Ruth to move into a rental townhouse they owned on the other side of town. Ruth was stunned. She never saw it coming, just as she never understood why her landlord insisted she leave. Brad was tactful, but remained firm. Predictably, Ruth erupted with, "You don't love me." Brad kept to the subject. We don't have to have a big scene to have a change of circumstances. We love you, but it's time for you to go. It isn't our job to take care of you. You are capable of caring for yourself. Are you going to charge me rent? His mother asked. Yes, but we'll have to charge you more if you want to include utilities. In our next session, Brad reviewed this encounter and described how he didn't let himself get needled. Instead, he told himself, "I'm not going there this time," and kept his focus on the outcome he wanted from the talk, for Ruth to move out. Brad had finally realized how much stress Ruth was adding to an already difficult living situation. With her in the house, my blood pressure felt like it was sky high. I used to tell myself to make it work. But the fact is I don't want to make it work with her. I have the energy, but it's not what I want to do. Brad had started seeing things differently. Being a member of a family doesn't give anybody free rein to treat people like crap. And basically... Okay, let's recap those last two. Freedom to suspend contact. Wait, where's the thing? Freedom to suspend on that. Um. Sometimes it might be necessary to suspend contact with a parent for the sake of your own health. Don't feel bad. Basically, simply speaking. You don't even need to wait. What was it? Don't need to. You need to have an active relationship. Hi, Octavie. How are you doing? With your parents to go to EP, yeah. Go to always EP, but recently more EP than usual. With your parents to free yourself from their influence. I mean, just studying, yeah. The main impulse to free yourself is from within. Well, not the impulse, the main the freedom from your parents comes from within. Basically, simply speaking, it's kind of hard to put into words. There's a wild Inke in chat. In case you want one. Oh hey, Malamar. So in that case, Ultra Ball. Well, Ultra Baller. Wait. Choop. Don't got no balls no more. Ah no. I hope you can get that situation figured out. I know it's not easy having no balls, but I don't know, you can still live a perfectly healthy life. Sorry, never mind. Where were we? Freedom to set limits and choose your own machine. Grab more balls, heck yeah. You grab those balls. Freedom. Freedom. To set limits and choose how much to give. Somewhere around here? Okay. Choose how much to give. Setting boundaries is the... Setting boundaries effectively is the ideal middle ground between cutting contact entirely and not. If they try to make you feel guilty for that, and then all the easier to accept how much their entitlement is ridiculous, basically. If you're an internalizer, chances are you'll try to find the solution to everything in your own behavior by trying to sacrifice yourself somehow. You need to free yourself from this pattern. There's nothing selfish about setting limits on how much other people can take from you. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to bump into you guys like that. I'm just studying this book. I've been out of university for a while now. Unfortunately, didn't study psychology or anything. Thanks for the hydrate. I just kind of study whatever. Because I kind of felt like, I needed to study something. And also I was just way too used to having the structure of, like, school and stuff. And trying to figure out, like, where to go in the job market just seemed very scary. Yeah. A lot of my life was just kinda, centered around my own anxieties and stuff like that. But ultimately, that's what led me here. For better or for worse. I'm trying to make the best of it. Make the best of it. There we go. Freedom to have self-compassion. In order to take care of yourself, you need to feel compassion for yourself. Hell yeah! Knowing your own feelings and having sympathy for yourself are two basic building blocks of strong individuality. Only if you have self-compassion will you know when to set limits or stop giving excessively. Extending compassion to yourself can be so healing, yet it can also feel quite unnatural at first. One woman described it this way: I looked back on that little girl I was and saw what she went through a lot. For the first time, I felt bad for myself. It was like exhaling after discovering that I'd been holding my breath for a long, long time. It's an odd feeling. Sad, intense, relieving, so many things at once. Now I have empathy for how painful and exhausting my childhood was. Looking at myself as a little girl was like an out-of-body experience. I was finally able to say, wow, poor girl, which I've never said before. Another woman felt this kind of self-compassion when she came across an old school photo of herself. She found herself speaking to the girl in the photo, saying, "You brave girl. You're smiling for the school picture, but you had so much to deal with." Grief and tears are a normal response to the dawning of self-compassion, arising as we come to grips with painful truths that are hard to take in. If you've spent many years not being validated, you've probably suppressed sadness more than any other emotion. Yes. Daniel Siegel, a well-known psychiatrist and author, has written eloquently about the healing power of emotion. He says that if we allow ourselves to sit with our true feelings as they emerge, we can be transformed. Feeling deep emotion is our way of processing important new information. Being conscious of our emotions, including grief, is how we do the inner work of psychological growth. Yeah, I want to learn more about like what our emotions even are. Because I have this little pet theory that, well, more of a pet model, I guess, that our emotions are like basically side effects of something impacting your brain, you know, something, you know, I don't know. This is probably a little bit silly. Yeah, it's not necessarily like that. You know, when you cry about a song you've heard before, that's not necessarily an impact. But I guess what it means is that, you know, one thing that is true is that you can't change anything fundamental about your mind without emotions being involved. Like, they just happen when something big impacts you on that level. And I guess when you cry for another reason that doesn't really leave an impact but just kind of happens, and you know, like when you're listening to music, I guess that's because it brings back kind of a memory of, like, you know, something that did happen that made you feel that way. Just kind of calling back that emotion. I don't know. I'm just kind of battling here. I feel like I can't just read the book too much because, you know, I need to add enough commentary to still make this like fair use. You know what I'm saying? Rings a bell in your head? Yeah. Like, one thing I do know is that emotions are strongly associated with memory. Like, basically, every memory you form, well, maybe, I don't know how it is about, like, just straight up trivia and stuff, like just straight up raw facts. Those aren't necessarily associated with emotions. but you do learn them more easily when they are associated with emotions. But yeah, basically there's like a direct connection between like the part of your brain that forms memories, that sets them into like solidifies them, and like the emotional part, because basically like if you think of it evolutionarily, then it's like your brain starts to tries to figure out like how does the world work and how do I have to work in it in order to survive. And then memories are just it like saving these data points that are like, okay, this kind of thing makes me sad, I don't want that, so I'll try to avoid that. This kind of thing makes me mad, I'll try to fight against that. And this kind of thing makes me happy, I do want more of that. And like that. Yeah. So yeah, every memory like that is associated with some like got kind of this memory tag associated with it. And yeah, I guess that's why sometimes some songs might affect you in a way that you can't really place, in a way that surprises you, probably because there's some association there because it just calls back like some memory that you can't really even put your finger on, but it's just kind of there, associated with that emotion. I don't know, something like that. I hope I'm making sense. I'm really trying to make sense, but it was just blah. Blah, 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 blah. Grief and tears, inner work, psychological growth. According to Siegel, when we are feeling emotions, we are integrating and absorbing new awareness into our consciousness. Well then. I often tell clients that tears can be thought of as a physical sign of the integration process that's occurring in our hearts and minds. When you cry these deeper tears of realization, you ultimately end up feeling better. This kind of crying helps you develop into a more integrated and complex person, and will leave you feeling more settled and able to regroup. There we go. Regaining the ability to feel for yourself comes in waves, and some of these waves can be very intense. Having a lot of unprocessed emotion to integrate can feel overwhelming. You'll benefit from reaching out to a compassionate friend or therapist for comfort and support to help you through these times, but don't be afraid of this natural process. Your body knows how to cry and grieve. If you let your feelings arise and keep trying to understand them, you'll come out of the experience a more integrated, mature person, with greater compassion for both yourself and others. There's a Morgrim in chat. Morgrim. Morgrim. Yep, that's that one. Okay, got it. Freedom from excessive empathy. Internalizers are so emotionally sensitive that they can go overboard in feeling empathy for other people's problems or what they imagine other people's suffering to be. Sometimes they end up feeling worse about another person's situation than the other person does. With healthy empathy, on the other hand, you can have compassion. You can have compassion without losing awareness of your own limits. Is that necessarily part of this whole process? I don't know. Rebecca's elderly mother, Irene, was an externalizer who complained constantly. Nothing was ever right, even though Rebecca had tried her hardest to make her happy. Although Rebecca was doing a good job of setting boundaries with Irene, she still had a blind spot. One day in session, Rebecca revealed a fundamental error in her thinking when she commented, "But there's nothing wrong with wanting her to feel better." "Yes, there is," I found myself exclaiming. This belief was at the heart of Rebecca's self-sacrificing role with her mother. Being invested in Irene feeling better was a serious problem because it fueled Rebecca's emotional enmeshment with her mom. I asked Rebecca what evidence she had that Irene wanted to feel better. Irene didn't live her life in such a way that she could feel better, and I couldn't see any signs that she was responding well to anything Rebecca was doing. Feeling better clearly didn't seem to be Irene's goal, so the fact that Rebecca had made it her central agenda doomed her to failure. She was working towards something Irene didn't seem to want. In fact, Irene's life theme was all about not getting what she wanted. Who was Rebecca to mess with that? One evening, when Rebecca was about to leave Irene's house, after a very frustrating day spent unsuccessfully trying to help her, Irene looked at Rebecca and said, "Just keep coming to see me." Rebecca was flabbergasted. After all she had tried to make her mother happy, was this all she really wanted? Rebecca decided to take Irene at her word, reining in her empathy and efforts to help, so she wouldn't dread visiting her mother. She finally saw that Irene would never be happy, but that this didn't have to be a problem for either of them. That is so wild. But also, it seems so weird to basically, not want to be happy, but in a way, it's also kind of relatable. Like, one big thing that, one time I had a therapist, and, like, the breakthrough moment we had was when, I don't know what triggered it or anything, but, she just asked me at one point, like, if I actually want to get better. And I was so taken aback. Like, up until that point, I was in that mindset where I thought, I just go to therapy and we have a nice talk, and maybe at some point I learn a thing and it's gonna be like, oh hey, I learned the thing that is gonna make me very smart and cool and like healthy and happy, and then it's gonna be all cool and stuff. But that is not how it works. It's not a fun thing. You kind of have to make yourself emotionally vulnerable and available, and like not available, but like you have to be there. You have to dig into your brain and rip out the bad parts. It's gonna hurt. You can't just like rationalize your way out of depression. It's a big rational thought and stuff is like a big part of it, like figuring out your emotions and learning to control them to an extent, not over control them. That is the big thing. But if you are too distant from your emotions, like you have to be able to feel them and accept them, and then be like, okay, now what? Now what do I do with this? But you can't just decide how you're going to feel. That's not how this works. That is not in the contract. So yeah. Where was I going? Right. The point is, yeah, I really didn't. I really didn't have that motivation to really feel better, because that's the life I knew, I guess, I was just like, if I'm like so emotionally unstable and stuff, then I don't have to go to work, because I just have a mental breakdown every few months, and then they can't force me to keep coming back. So, it's cool. Obviously, like, that's like a hidden part of me that was thinking like that, like, but I wasn't aware of that. Like, yeah. It's one of those secondary benefits things that like foster the development of what's it called? Psychosomatic conditions. But yeah, I'm just kind of babbling. Doopy doopy doo, doopy doopy doo. Freedom from excessive empathy. Freedom to have self-compassion. Okay. What is freedom when asked of you by a god? Oh my god. What is freedom? Like a god is coming up to me and asking me like, what is freedom? What is freedom? That is a big one. I guess, that's the whole question of like whether free will exists, you know? That obviously plays into that. And like supposedly people have proven that free will doesn't really exist, but I don't know. It didn't really convince me that much. And above all, I'm just not sure that it really matters. The way I think about it is that the way I think about it is, let me try to scrape that together. I haven't thought about this in a long time. So this idea of mine is kind of influenced by Kant, which is a little bit problematic because like Kant's philosophy is exactly the kind of thing that fosters like that kind of thinking where you try to just control your feelings and stuff like that. And you know, that kind of thinking where you just like where your brain is like just where you are like a soul in a body, rather than seeing the whole thing holistically and saying like, hey, I need to, you know, what was I? You know, that kind of thinking where you're like, yeah, I'm a soul in like this flesh shell, like that invites the kind of self-neglect where you just kind of feel like you need to function, and like you think you need to function and you try to control how you feel, and that's how that's how you get all these psychosomatic conditions, because your body is like, no, I actually have these other feelings and I want you to take them seriously, please. You know? But yeah, the moment where you realize, oh wait, I actually exist. Oh god, don't remind me. So to answer your question, I don't know if free will really exists. I'm not sure that it does, but we do have like a pretty big freedom to choose how we want to evolve, like how we want to develop ourselves as human beings. You know, like the human mind is in theory like capable of changing itself dramatically in some really cool ways. Like if you look like, I don't know, a drug addict or something who sobers up, like that is a tremendous amount of willpower. And you know, depending on their addiction, it can even that can even go so far as to go against all their like bodily, hi there Black Gold, all their bodily instincts, because you know their body has all these what's it called, withdrawal symptoms, and they are painful, and you want to avoid pain, but you just stick through it because of willpower and stuff. Because at some point they decided, I need to do this. I want to do this. This is how I want to be. Aren't most ethics based on the concept of free will? They are, probably. But the thing is, our minds are just kind of like, you know, we have the brains of animals. But I think, you know, these animal brains can still basically run some pretty powerful software, so to speak. Like, if you think of them as computers, like, we're basically running I don't know, we're running like I can't think of a good example. We're running a MacBook. We're running a Mac, and you can figure out a way to make it play PC stuff. No, it's just yeah. I don't think it truly matters if free will as such exists, because I'm really not doing a good job explaining it right now. I'm very sorry. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm too tired. But hi, the syntax error. Did I already say hi to you? I'm not sure that I did, but hello. Yeah. God, I'm so tired. I'm sorry. I will eventually make a video essay on that. Maybe not necessarily just that. Maybe it will just be like part of a point, but yeah. I think we can basically I think we can run a good enough simulation of free will that it doesn't practically matter if it's like actually real or if we're just emulating it. Human experience and stuff like qualia seems hard to rationalize with a purely computational model of the mind. Human experience stuff like qualia. What is qualia? Let me look that up. Qualia. In philosophy of mind, qualia are defined as instances of subjective conscious experience. The term qualia derives from the Latin neuter plural form qualia of the Latin adjective qualis, meaning of what sort or of what kind in relation to specific instance, such as what is like today's specific apple, this particular apple now. So it's basically consciousness, an instance of consciousness. Man, I don't know. I never thought about that stuff in that much detail. It just never seemed terribly important to me. It's like, you know, that it's like the question like, is there a God? It's like, I don't know, maybe. I sure hope they aren't against me if so. You know? But ultimately it doesn't really wouldn't necessarily have to influence the way I actually act. Also, there's an Armaldo in chat. Am I winning? Hi there, Bart. So many firsts today. How are you doing? Am I winning? That is a very big question. I am slowly moving towards winning. So in that sense, I am in fact in the process of winning. There's okay, I don't have that. I don't have Armaldo. Poker Catch Ultra Ball because I do have an Android. Well, shit. Okay. Thank you. How are you doing? Oh god. Hang on. Ugh, my throat. But yeah, syntax. What is your opinion on that? How do you feel about the ethics thing? I don't know. Oh, the ethics thing. Yes. Also, I don't know. Am I? I feel like you're getting at something pretty deep there, and I just kind of glossed over it. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure if I'm saying that I think of basically the human brain as just like a computer. I do think like that we are more than the sum of our parts, you know? I don't know what that means exactly, but if there is such a thing as a soul, I think of it as like the emergent system of the everything that is more than the sum of our parts. Yeah, it's like, but like more than a system, like the more than, you know, like if you think of a video game, then you have like the graphics and the code and the stuff and how all that interacts, but all that is basically just like a thing in a all of that in itself is just like a thing, that like a program and stuff. But if you actually experience it and use it like as a way to interact with it and like experience and express yourself and whatnot, then it becomes more than just like this video game. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know, like I'm just trying to explain like the idea of something being more than the sum of its parts, you know what I'm saying? Individuals' inputs of possibilities and reactions. Really well. Professionally developed open world game or something. I mean, I don't know. This is kind of running away from me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know really well how to put this well. But yeah, anyway, we are trying to take some notes here. Also, I need to take a break again. Sorry. Be right back. Okay, y'all. I have good news and bad news. The good news is I remembered my go-to model to explain the thank you. To explain the whole soul more than some of its parts thing. The bad news is that it doesn't really do anything to address the whole thing about like consciousness and whatnot. So darn. Basically, you know, there's this idea of like the ship of Theseus. Well, it's like this ancient Greek question of like Theseus' ship has been damaged so much that at this point more of it, like so much had to have been replaced of the ship that it's that like none of its parts are actually the same parts that they were in the beginning. So is it still even Theseus' ship? And the answer is yeah, it is. And that was really awesomely it's been a little chaotic by different reasons, but I'm here. Welcome. Hi there. I hope your day hasn't been too stressful and you can calm down now. Douglas Adams, I think it was, had an amazing anecdote about that where he was like in Japan and they have like this tower. Welcome back, Jesus. They had this tower that burned down several times and has been rebuilt several times, and so he asked them like, is it even still the same tower? And they were like, what the fuck? Of course it is. Of course it's still the same tower. And that's because you know, that tower is not the material that the tower is made of. That tower is defined by what it means to people, by, you know, it has this, basically the soul of being like that very important landmark, that very important spiritual place and stuff. And it doesn't lose that just because, you know, just because of a little thing like burning down and having to be rebuilt from new materials, you know? It's still that thing because, you know, that's what it is there for, and that's what it is within the consciousness of the people to whom it means something. And I think in much the same way, it's like that for us, you know. We're just kind of ourselves, and that that includes being like part of a greater whole with like the rest of everyone else we interact with. And yeah, and just basically imagine all of that said in like a non-meandering and very cool way. Okay. Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, now we wanted to take some notes, and that is to say I wanted to take some notes, and that is to say I have kind of forced myself to take notes. Because that is what this is all about. So freedom to suspend contact, that's what we had. Freedom to set limits, we already had that. Freedom to have self-compassion. Take care of yourself. You need to have self-compassion. There's a gibble in chat. Pretty sure I have that. I do. It can feel unnatural, but try to look at yourself, your childhood self, as a separate person and realize just and notice how sorry you'd probably feel for them if they were someone else. This can cause some intense sadness, but sadness, that grief can be part of growing stronger and happier. This means that your brain is working through things. Freedom from excessive empathy. Excessive. You might actually feel so strongly empathetic towards others that it that it causes you. Text is in front of me. Why is my text in front of me? That is silly. Oop. And there we are. That it causes you harm. Sometimes it can you could even feel worse for a person than they feel for themselves. Some people actually quote unquote don't want to feel better. complain incessantly. But that's just because they're being in the role of the one being in the role of the one suffering is how they conceptualize themselves in the world. They aren't even they conceptualize themselves in the world and express themselves, and they aren't even actually looking for help or get better. Okay. How are y'all holding up? Everyone's still nice and chipper, nice and lively. I hope so. Why does this take so long? Why am I so slow? We're at this many pages, and then after that there's this many pages. There's only like 20 more pages left. Man. It would be amazing to actually finish this book today. Not sure if I can do it though. Freedom to take action on your own behalf. Growing up with emotionally immature parents may have caused you to feel helpless both as a child and as an adult. The lack of emotional attentiveness can make it feel as though what you want doesn't matter. You may have been convinced that all you could do was wait until someone felt like giving you what you need. It's important to realize that childhood experiences of profound helplessness can feel traumatic, causing people to later react to adult feelings of helplessness with a sensation of collapse and the feeling of there's nothing I can do and no one will help me. As children, sensitive internalizers can be so affected by this feeling that later they're prone to feeling like victims with no control, at the mercy of powerful people who refuse to give them what they desperately need. Ooh. Even if this victim reaction is deeply ingrained, you can always reclaim your right to ask for help, and even more importantly, to keep on asking for help as often as necessary. Action on your own behalf is the antidote to traumatic feelings of helplessness. Although being raised by emotionally immature parents gave you a very limited sampling of what life and relationships have to offer, hopefully you're starting to realize how expansive the possibilities are and that you owe it to yourself to ask for what you need. Carissa's story. After finally seeing how her dominating father, Bob, had trained her to feel helpless and passive around authority figures, Carissa went to visit her parents, prepared to observe them, express herself, manage interactions, and work toward outcomes she wanted. She was amazed at how well the visit went. Thanks to some help from her husband, Alejandro, her father didn't manage to take the floor with his political rants and lectures about his pet peeves. As soon as her father began to warm to his subject, Alejandro suddenly started talking about a different topic, an unexpected turn of events that seemed to confuse Bob and derailed his conversation. Another time, as a family gathered on the deck for drinks, everyone took their seats in such a way that Bob was about to end up on one side of the deck, facing everyone else on the other side, a perfect setup for activating his proclivity to lecture to a captive audience. Carissa saw it happening and took action. She later told me, "In the past I would have just thought, oh, I'm screwed, now I'm stuck. But this time I took charge." She slid her chair next to her dad to prevent him from becoming the center of attention. It worked, allowing conversation to flow around the group rather than everyone being subjected to a torrent from her father. Using the maturity awareness approach, Carissa had managed the interaction to achieve the outcome she wanted: equal participation. Well, yeah. It's an important point, but not a necessarily very different one. Freedom to express yourself. Expressing yourself with emotionally immature people is an important act of self-affirmation, one that implicitly stakes your claim to exist as an individual with your own feelings and thoughts. Remember, an important step in the maturity awareness approach is expressing yourself and then letting go. It's important to relinquish the belief that if your parents loved you, they'd understand you. As an independent adult, you can function without their understanding. You may not ever have the kind of relationship you've wanted with your parents, but you can make each interaction with them more satisfying for you. You can speak up politely when you feel like it, and be different without offering excuses. By expressing yourself to your parents in this way, you can be authentic even in the absence of their understanding. The point of expressing your feelings is to be true to yourself, not to change your parents. And there's always the likelihood that they can still love you even if they don't get you at all. By the way, Holly's story. Holly's father, Mel, was a barber who lived in a small southern town, and most of Holly's phone conversations with her father revolved around his community news. Holly, who held a high-level job as a federal investigator, had always longed for her father's recognition of her accomplishments. But when she brought up her job or other high points in her life, Mel seemed to have no idea how to respond to her. Instead, he often abruptly interrupted her to talk about something that had happened to him. Holly continued to tell him about her life because she wanted to connect with him more authentically, but his typical response was a lack of interest. Time and again, Holly just let it go, telling herself that she should respect her father. When Holly was going through difficulties in her job, she called Mel for moral support. But when she was in the middle of telling him what a tough time she was having, he suddenly changed the subject and started talking about the renovation of the country courthouse. This time, Holly was prepared to handle the situation differently by using clear, intimate communication. "Dad," she exclaimed, "I'm going to talk about me some more. I'm going through a really hard time. I'd like to hear your news. But this time, can you just listen? I need to talk to you." Holly was pleasantly surprised to find that her father accepted her redirection and just listened. Being emotionally immature, Mel simply didn't have the sensitivity to know when not to change the topic. By speaking up, Holly made her needs clear and finally felt heard by her father. I don't know. Neither of these seem terribly interesting to me. Freedom to approach old relationships in new ways. Like Carissa and Holly, you can interact with your parents in new ways that shake up old patterns and keep the focus on the outcome you're seeking. By taking it one interaction at a time, you can experiment with setting aside any unrealistic desires for genuine emotional connection or support from your parents. You aren't denying your past, you're just accepting your parents as they are, without expectations. You aren't denying your past, you're just accepting your parents as they are, without expectations. Sometimes parents will respond to this kind of honesty and neutrality by relating in a more emotionally genuine way. Though it may seem paradoxical, they may open up more once you stop wanting them to change. When you seem strong and they sense that you no longer need their approval, they may be able to relax more. As you stop trying to win their attention, the emotional intensity ebbs to a point where they sometimes can tolerate more openness. Because they are no longer terrified that your needs will trap them in unbearable levels of emotional intimacy, They may be able to respond to you as they would any other adult, with more reasonableness and courtesy. Interesting. That is interesting. The catch is that this can only happen if you truly relinquish the need for a deep relationship with them. Ah, there's a Dawn fan. What the heck? Is there no one say anything between these two Pokemon? Dawn fan. Dun, 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 fan. Thanks for that, bed. Oh yeah, got it. And it may not even happen then. But if you can stay true to yourself, detach emotionally, and interact without expectations, you'll be less likely to trigger your parents' defenses against intimacy. And by giving up your healing fantasy about changing your parents, you let them be who they are. When they are no longer under pressure to change, they may be able to treat you differently, or not. Your job is to be okay either way. Aw. Okay. That kinda... Does that recontextualize these two? Dawn fan escaped. No one caught it. Okay, I'm back. So, freedom to take action on your own behalf. How do I put this? First of all, there's the caption. Good. Freedom to take action on your own behalf. Growing up under such emotional inattentiveness leaves you feeling a sort of learned hopelessness. Best way to combat this is to take action on your own behalf and really stand up for your needs. Freedom to express yourself. Expressing yourself. Hang on, I'll just straight up quote her here. Expressing yourself with emotionally immature people is an important act of self-affirmation. One that implicitly stakes your claim to exist as an individual. Remember, it's important to express and then let go. You can't make the other person understand you if they are incapable of it. But you don't have to need them to understand. To get freedom to approach old relationships in new ways. Freedom to old relationships in new ways. Shake up old patterns by focusing on outcomes and setting aside expectations of true emotional intimacy. You aren't denying your past. You're just accepting your parents as they are, without expectations. This can actually lead to your parents opening up more than they did before. Because if you don't trigger their mental defenses against emotional intimacy, they might relax more and talk to you as they would to any other adult. Thank you for the hydrated. Freedom to not want anything from your parent. The most painful interactions with emotionally immature parents occur when their children need something from them. Whether it's attention, love, or communication, many neglected children continue to seek some kind of positive emotional regard from their parents well into adulthood, even though their parents aren't the giving type. Emotionally immature parents commonly promote the myth that parents are the only source of their children's well-being and self-esteem. Many self-involved parents like it when their child is needy, and they can be the center of their child's longing. Witnessing the child's dependency makes them feel secure and in control. If the child goes along with this, the parents gain the power to completely control their child's emotional state. The idea of stepping back and asking yourself whether you really need your parents or whether they need you to need them might seem radical, but if it weren't for family roles and fantasies, your parents might not even be the kind of people you'd seek anything from. So consider whether your need for them is real, or whether it might be a holdover from your unmet childhood needs. Do they really have something you want now? This question is relevant to relating to any emotionally immature person, whether spouse, friend, or relative. You can get swept up into believing that you're desperate for a relationship with someone even when you actually don't enjoy the interactions the other person has to offer. That is a big one. Summary. This chapter explored how it feels to break free from roles and expectations designed to please emotionally immature parents. Although you may have learned to reject yourself thanks to an overly critical inner voice that expects perfection, you can reclaim your true self and genuine thoughts and feelings regardless of other people's reactions. You can claim the freedom to express yourself and take action on your own behalf. You're free to extend compassion to yourself and even grieve what you've lost as a result of having emotionally immature parents. You now know that your first job is your own self-care, including setting limits on how much you give, even to the point of suspending contact with your parents if necessary. You no longer have to exhaust yourself with excessive empathy for other people. In addition, you're likely to find that your relationship with your parents becomes more tolerable as you relinquish the need for their emotional acceptance. And as you shed your old family role, you can relate to your parents more honestly without needing them to change. In the next chapter, which is the final chapter in the book, we'll take a look at how you can use the maturity awareness approach to find more emotionally mature friends and partners. I'll also offer some pointers on developing new attitudes and values that will promote the possibility of more rewarding and reciprocal relationships in the future. Well, holy crap. Okay. Let's see. How much did we get through so far today? We got through, this is 60, we got through like 17 pages. And the final chapter is, like 20 pages. So more than this. Yeah, I think I might call it. I would really like to finish this today, but boy, boy. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. It's fine, Teiyu. You can have off days. It's cool. Still made some cool new friends, like Elle. Yeah. And that's great. Okay. They are on break. There is Alice, I think we need a professional. Try to go, we wanna give her. Yuharu. Thanks for the shades, dude. Yeah, let's call it here, I guess. Oh wait, I didn't actually. I still need to take notes on your last one. The last one's still kind of, that one's kind of important, right? Just realized, friggin' freedom to not want anything from your parent. That is a doozy. Oh wow, Tropius. Oh. Tropius. Tropius. I do not have Tropius. Oh, Kakash. Okay. Freedom to not want anything from your parents. The most painful interactions occur when their children need something from them. In the same vein, the most pain happens when the parent feels like the child needs something from them. The desire for some kind of attention can persist into adulthood, whether we realize it or not. Self-involved parents will often enjoy this feeling of dependency. Wait. Dependencies, there we go. On them, as it makes them feel powerful and in control. Consider if this person wasn't your parent, would you actually want to hang out with them at all? Or is that feeling just a holdover from childhood? Ah! Oh, well then. Hi there, Zen. Oh gosh. Man, you streamed for a while. I'm actually... Oh man, oh man, oh man, hi. Oh dear, sleepy stream with sleepy cat. I was just about to end actually. Oh man. Hang on, let me give you a shout out. Shout out for Zen 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 Zen.
Yo, this Minish so cap.
How was the thing? How was Silent Hill? Did you encounter anyone bursting into blood? Did my prediction come true after all? Even though I was thinking of the wrong game. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, this is Teiyu, your emotional support animal. I'm striving to become a mental health content creator, and to that end, I've been having some study streams where I go through some like self-help books and try to take notes and stuff. And sometimes we discuss like psychology things and stuff. I'm not a professional, but I try my best. Try my best to be understanding and cool and helpful and stuff. Almost finished it, but 2 EP and I'm going to do the rest today. Yeah, same. I got through like 17 pages today, and yeah. There's like 20 left. And it's just... my brain is just not working good today. It's quite unfortunate. I don't know. I feel like I should do at least a little bit. Just a little bit. Next time is gonna be interesting. Next time is gonna be like some of the good shit. Chapter 10, How to Identify Emotionally Mature People. The previous chapter explored how you can reclaim your emotional freedom by honoring your true self in your relationships with your parents and others, setting limits and acting on your own behalf. In this chapter, you'll learn how to identify people who are emotionally mature enough to engage in a mutually satisfying relationship. I'll also discuss how you can adopt new attitudes about relationships so that you can interact in ways that will help put emotional loneliness firmly in your past. Unfortunately, adult children of emotionally immature parents, title drop, can be skeptical that a relationship could enrich their life. Instead, they tend to think that rewarding relationships are a pipe dream, too good to be true. And beneath this thought, they typically fear that other people won't be truly interested in who they are. These negative expectations perpetuate emotional loneliness, but you can change them once you're aware of them. Yeah, because, there's that old thing, like, your parents are your first, the first way you learn how relationships with anyone actually work. And those patterns can easily persist into adulthood, and then you don't necessarily seek out people who are like your parents, but you might, consciously or not, seek out relationships that function similarly to the way that your relationship to your parents as a child worked. And, yeah, that can be an issue. The lure of old patterns. Remember what John Bowlby 1979 said? John Bowlby 1979. All humans share the primitive instinct that familiarity means safety. Comes running in from lunch. Cutie, wait! Yes! All humans share the primitive instincts, right? Therefore, if you grew up with emotionally immature parents, you may feel subconsciously drawn to the familiarity of egocentric and exploitative people. quite a few of my female clients who ended up in abusive relationships distinctly remember that. In high school, nice boys didn't appeal to them. In fact, they typically found considerate males boring, which unfortunately meant that if the guy's behavior wasn't selfish or dominating enough, there was no attraction. For these women, self-centered males probably stirred up uncertainty in the way they found exciting. But was this actual excitement, or was it a shiver of childhood anxiety in response to a self-involved person who wanted to use them? One tenet of schema therapy, developed by Jeffrey Young, is that the people we find most charismatic are subconsciously triggering us to fall back into old, negative family patterns. Young warns that this kind of instant chemistry can be a danger sign, indicating that self-defeating roles from childhood are being reactivated beneath the surface. This chapter will help you turn that dynamic around. The key is to use your newfound observational abilities to find emotionally rewarding people to connect with, instead of repeating old patterns that will lead to further emotional loneliness. So yeah, I think that's gonna be a very, very helpful topic to explore next time. Yeah. And apparently I have to work out. Hang on. Get another shout out in here for Zen. As I do some stuff.
Must there be a hatchet coming through the window hitting you?
Dude.
Literally just called it. Literally just called it.
What?
This huntress is cracked. I gotta go.
6, 7, 8, 9. Alright. And yeah. With that, I'm gonna call it. Let's rate Kiara. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Yeah. Because, you know, unlike a lot of chapters so far, this is, well, it's kind of, there's a lot of repetition in there, but it's different, and it's like it's applied in a different way. So I wanna take some detailed notes, because I feel like that's something a lot of people can really benefit from. So yeah, let's give that its own time in the sun. Let's go. Let's rate Kiara. She's having a smash or handhold. And yeah, I entered into that. So I have no idea if I already came up or anything, but yeah, let's go do that. Hello, I'm Teiyu, the goat, VT. Yeah, good. It's good that I'm ending, because man, my brain is not there. Let's yeah, Kiara VT. Raid. Pop. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Zen, for the raid. Thank you all for being cool. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to actually, what is his name? Jakufuak? Was it like this? Yeah, okay. Jakufuak always streams with Zen, and I love them both very much. They are friends. Yeah.
I could try.
I know, it was just funny to me. Hiya!
No.
Yeah. Ah, by the way, a friggin' raid message. Right. Yeah, I made a command. You will be heard. Let's go. You can replace the emotes with whatever. And right. Thank you so much for being here. Take care and remember that you're loved. Bye.